Oh. You know who happened this?
That's all you hear when you see us shit. Bow.
Who phone is this?
Bow. Man.
Ben.
That's good pictures that we be taking the pictures off of your phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Said, run up on foe 6, leave him flat dead. What did that mean? Or why would there be any conflict there?
Man, I don't. The media took that what they took it as, man. I don't think Chief Keef was dissing us, man. Like,
really?
No, he wasn't dissing us. He was saying, run up on bro them, you gonna get your ass flatline. You feel me? They took it how they took it because Chief Keef was into it with Fetty Wap once upon a time.
Really?
And he was saying, pull up on the zoo, who the fuck is you, nigga? You know, Fetty Wap was calling himself Zoo Crew.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he said, I'm gonna blow New Jersey up. So when he made that Benito song, the fans felt like he was saying, oh yeah, you stretching 4-6, who out the bam. It was a little fake little back and forth shit, man, so before, but he wasn't dissing us, we wasn't dissing him. Like, we don't, that's the internet shit, you feel me?
Relationship with Chief Keef? You know, Social used to be my boy. Like me, him and Ball, I was in the same class with Dad and shit. This when they sent Sosa back to fucking elementary school, they said he I don't know, he supposed to have been in high school. I don't know what the fuck went on. But yeah, man, Sosa, it's crazy because man, Sosa used to be done to talk to like mostly all the same little bitches and shit. And phone them, so like, man, all that shit. It fell out when Tato got his ass beat by one of the guys. I'm just keeping it 100, you feel me? And it fell out, you feel me? So, it is what it is. Ball out, Sosa know how our relationship used to be. All that shit fell out when Tato got his ass beat by one of the guys.
There is a legend on the south side of Chicago that people still argue about to this day. And it is about the single biggest name the drill era ever produced, Chief Keef. The story goes that before the world knew him, before Bang, before I Don't Like, before he changed the sound of rap music forever, a young Chief Keef was in the wrong neighborhood at the wrong time. And THF, the trigger-happy family, allegedly caught him. And the way the street tells it, they didn't just run him off, they put him in a dumpster. True or not? And we are going to get into exactly how true it is, that one story tells you everything about the strangest rivalry in Chicago drill. Because this is not the usual tale of two ops who grew up hating each other. This is a story about a neighborhood that helped birth the entire sound, that had a direct line to the biggest artist that sound ever created, and then turned on him so hard that his own bars about their block became some of the most infamous lines in drill history. How does a neighborhood end up at war with the very rapper who put their whole city on the map?
You gon' need God. Run up on 4-6 and hit they block, but they ain't out there. We don't never see them. Bitch, my 4-5 wanna meet them.
Let's start from the beginning. Two kingdoms. To understand this, you have to understand that Chicago drill was built by a handful of neighborhoods sitting almost on top of each other, all feeding the same sound and all at war at the same time. On one side, Kenwood, 46th and Woodlawn, THF, the Trigger Happy family. An affluent-looking neighborhood on the near south side with a war running underneath it, a set that traced back to the 1960s as 46 Lawn and evolved into one of the most feared families in the city. And a short drive away, the neighborhoods that birthed Chief Keef and the sound that conquered the world. O Block, Parkway Gardens, the Black Disciple strongholds that produced Keef, that produced the GBE movement, Glory Boys, Glow Gang, the crews that turned Chicago street life into a global genre. These worlds were not far apart on a map, and that closeness is exactly the problem. In Chicago, the neighborhoods that made drill famous are the same ones close enough to be at war with each other. Proximity is not friendship. Proximity is how the beefs start. Keef's world and THF's world were near enough to collide, and when they did, the collision produced one of the most talked about grudges the genre ever generated. The spark every legendary beef has an origin story, and this one is built on an alleged encounter. By the account that has circulated for over a decade, a young Chief Keef, before the fame, before the record deal, ended up in or around THF's Kenwood territory, and it went bad. THF members allegedly caught him slipping. And out of that encounter came the story that has followed Keef his entire career, that the trigger-happy family got the better of him on their block, and that they made a humiliating example of it. Here is where you have to be honest as a storyteller. The most extreme version of this, the dumpster, is exactly the kind of detail that street legend loves, because it is unforgettable and impossible to fully verify. What matters is not whether every detail is literal. What matters is that the story took hold. It became accepted lore, and once a story like that attaches itself to a name as big as Chief Keef, it stops mattering whether it happened exactly that way. The neighborhood believed it. Keef's people had to answer it. And the answer is what turned a rumor into a genuine war. Because Keef did not stay quiet. Keef put it in the music. The most famous shot in this entire rivalry is a bar. When Chief Keef and his GBE affiliates addressed THF, they did it the way drill settles everything, on record. The line that lived forever was the challenge to run up on 46. Run up on 46. Understand what that means in the language of drill. Naming a specific ops block in a song is the highest form of disrespect the genre has. It is not vague trash talk. It is an address. And it flipped the whole story. Because now, THF was not the neighborhood that ran Keef off. In the eyes of Keef's massive audience, THF was the block being called out by the biggest rapper in the game. The narrative war had become as important as anything that happened on the street. Whoever controlled the story, controlled who looked strong. Here is the twist that makes this rivalry different from every other one in the corpus. The line between friend and enemy was never clean. THF and Keef's world were not permanently simply at war the way THF and 0521 were. There were connections, shared affiliates, members who moved between these worlds.
The day, Sosa had this 4-6 and said something like pull up on 4-6, leave a nigga flat dead. What was your feelings on that when you first heard that?
No, that's Brody, but that was just a song. He thought he said something else. Now ain't nobody gonna do that. That's a different block. He thought he said another block, but he ain't really mean to say it. That's gang though. Shout out folks. That was a dangerous description. That was a misled word. That's Brody. Do I fuck with bro? I know bro since he was growing up. You feel me? That was a chopped and screwed word that somebody put in there, and he just kept it on the record. For real.
What's up?
So I remember back in the day, Sosa had a song, and it sounded like he had this y'all block or something like that. What was to that situation? What made him do that?
To be honest, I don't really know what made him do it, but fuck him.
So y'all just don't rock with him at all?
Nah, I don't know him. And every time somebody mention that song to me, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah, I don't like Shorty.
So you don't know what that shit stemmed from? Was y'all ever cool with each other as far as
I never really knew him, so I can't say he was cool with me. He was cool with some people that I know. There's some niggas that I fuck with, but I was never cool with him. I just feel like you can't be cool with a nigga 1 minute, then the next minute it's a problem unless you always had that. You always felt like that. It was always in your heart, you know what I mean? Because if you cool with a nigga and y'all have a disagreement and you get into it, you're supposed to be able to talk, conversate. Man, bro, I ain't like when you such and such. You, alright, bro, well, I ain't like, alright, bro, I ain't gonna do that no more. You niggas, we men, we could, but.
instead of going straight to this?
Yeah, and it be the niggas with the biggest platform that like to take little shots at us and shit like that, but they don't be saying this how these niggas really be safe in the city.
So you feel like that y'all hood is the reason a lot of people be safe throughout Chicago?
Of course.
And what's the reason behind that? Do y'all be around the security for certain people, or it's just?
Nah, I won't say no security because it's like a family for real, but just shit. Motherfucker come to Chicago, you with us, you good.
People who had love on both sides, alliances that formed and broke as the drill scene fractured and refractured. The GBE and Glow Gang movement itself went through its own splits and betrayals. The story of Chicago drill is full of former brothers becoming ops and former ops linking up when it served them. That is what made the Keef and THF situation so volatile. It was not two strangers hating each other from a distance. It was people who were close enough to have real history, and that history could curdle into beef and occasionally thaw back out, depending on who was up, who was down, who had just been killed, and who needed who. In a war between total strangers, the rules are simple. In a fallout between people who were once connected, every move is personal. And that is the register this whole thing played out in. Not distant. Personal. While the narrative war played out online, the real war never stopped taking bodies. And this is where you have to remember what all of this actually sits on top of. The same drill scene that produced Chief Keef's global fame produced funeral after funeral. The corpus is full of them. La Capone, the 600 rapper assassinated behind a studio. Lil Mark, hunted down and killed at a bus stop 3 days before his 20th birthday after his disrespectful track. 15 years of THF and 051 killings running in the background the entire time. The Chief Keef feud did not happen in a vacuum. It happened inside a city where a bar about an ops block was not just entertainment. It was a real flag planted in a real war where real people died. When Keef's world and THF's world traded shots in music, both sides knew that music in Chicago had a body count. The songs were not separate from the violence. They were often the fuse that lit it, or the scoreboard that recorded it after the fact. That is the uncomfortable truth underneath the biggest sound in modern rap. The genre that made Chief Keef a global star was powered by neighborhoods burying their own children, and the disrespect that made the songs exciting was the exact same disrespect that got people killed. Now step back and look at the strangest part of the whole thing. Chief Keef did not just become a famous rapper. He became the reason the entire world knows what Chicago drill even is. Every neighborhood in this story, THF's Kenwood, 051, O Block, all of them, got their global infamy downstream of the door that Keef kicked open. He is the reason people in other countries know these block names at all. He is the reason a documentary exists that runs for hours about a war on the south side of Chicago, and THF's territory is right in the middle of the world that made him. So, the rivalry carries a bitter irony. THF is part of the same drill ecosystem that Keef put on the map. The fame that shines a light on their war, that turns their fallen members into names that strangers around the world can recognize. A huge part of that light comes from the very rapper they turned on. In running against Keef, in trading bars with the biggest artist their scene ever produced, THF was at war with a piece of their own reflection. That is what makes turning on the biggest name your neighborhood ever made such a complicated thing. You cannot fully separate yourself from him. His success is the water the entire scene swims in. Here is the resolution, and it is not a shootout. It is something more modern than that. In a normal drill war, the scoreboard is bodies. In the Chief Keef and THF situation, the scoreboard was the narrative. Who told the story better? Who looked stronger in the eyes of an audience of millions, whether the dumpster legend defined Keef or whether Run Up on 46 defined THF. And the honest answer is that both stories survived side by side, because that is how legend works. To THF's side, they are forever the block that got the drop on Chief Keef before he was anybody. To Keef's massive fan base, he is the untouchable global icon who dared an entire feared family to come do something and then went on to change music history while they stayed on the block. Both things are believed. Both stories are told. Neither side ever got a clean final win, because the war was never really about who could outshoot who. It was about who could outtell the story. And in a genre built on exactly that, the biggest rapper in the world and the neighborhood that turned on him both got to keep their version forever. Human weight. Here is the full accounting. Strip away the dumpster legend and the run-up on 46 bars and the narrative scorekeeping, and what you are actually looking at is a group of young people from neighborhoods a few minutes apart, who were close enough to know each other, close enough to have real history. and who spent years turning that closeness into a war fought in songs that doubled as threats. Think about what that means. The single greatest cultural export the South Side of Chicago ever produced, a genre that reached every corner of the planet, that made kids from these blocks into international names, was built on top of neighborhoods so entangled that their biggest star and their most feared family ended up as enemies. The same proximity that let them build a sound together is the proximity that made them opps. And here is the part that should sit heaviest. For every clever bar and every legendary story in this feud, the underlying scene was burying teenagers the entire time. The disrespect that made the music thrilling was the same disrespect that, on other blocks in the same war, ended lives. Chief Keef survived. He got out, got famous, got to become a legend the world protects. Most of the names around this entire scene did not get that. They became the memory the songs are about, the biggest rapper Kenwood's world ever produced, and the family that turned on him both got to keep their legend. The tragedy is how many people in the same city, fighting the same kind of war, never got a legend at all. They just got a headstone and a hood renamed after them. We the Mob. Drop your verdict in the comments. In a war fought with songs instead of only guns, who actually won? The rapper who got out and became a legend? Or the neighborhood that swears they had him first? Because how you answer that tells you everything about what you think really lasts. Hit the like button, subscribe, and check the next documentary on your screen.